Welcome to another episode of Race Driver Grid, part number 18. Yes, I know, it's been a bit of a while since I've last done one of these Race Driver Grid LP parts. Ever since I kind of came home, I hadn't really had a push to continue doing so. There's just been some personal stuff going on that I won't get into this video about because, well, I don't feel like people really need to know that much. But nevertheless, despite all that, I am back and I'm going to be doing some more Grid. Hopefully we'll get this going again. And maybe it'll kind of resume a regular upload schedule. If not, then I apologize. I can't make any certain promises right now. But anyways, yeah. So we're back here though, and I'm doing a post commentary route. That might be one thing I decided to change up for this series because it's just a little bit easier for me to already record it and then just kind of watch back the footage and just, kind of talk about some stuff. Because I feel like when I'm doing a post-commentary approach, I feel like parts of my mind just kind of come a little bit more natural because I can kind of focus on a bunch of stuff rather than just playing it live, where sometimes some of my mindset is kind of gone adrift because of me playing the game right on the spot. I mean, I'm not sure how many others of you get that same kind of feeling, but at least for me, that seems to be what happens whenever I play a game and I'm commentating live. So it's very much possible, but maybe not everyone has that same issue like I do. Another thing I will also mention real quickly is I am using a different microphone, but according to almost everyone I talk to, no one seems to ever notice that it's a different microphone, which is a good thing. It must mean that this is really good. But yeah, the reason I have a different microphone is because my usual setup, which is a Philips SHP 9500S pair of headphones with a V-Moda Boom Pro microphone, for whatever reason, there's been a lot of sound leakage as of late. Whenever I'm using the microphone, if I have the volume set to a certain amount, the microphone will just pick it up and it'll sound more like a stereo mix, and that gets really annoying because then other people can hear what I'm doing, and that's that becomes not just annoying for myself, it becomes annoying for them because it can be distracting, or even if I decide to use it on like the PlayStation, it'll pick up a lot of echo, so they hear themselves, and they definitely don't like that. So I needed to get something. I couldn't really figure out how to get a warranty to send my headphones in, because I don't know how Philips set up their website. It's a bit irritating. Maybe one day I'll figure it out and then I'll send them that, and hopefully I can perhaps go back to using that because it's really nice. But for the meantime, at least until I can get something better, I just grabbed a headset from the source. It's called, I believe, I don't even need the box for this because I remember off the top of my head, an Extreme Gaming H980 Lumen, which I guess is their term for quote-unquote RGB, 7.1 virtual surround sound, and all that nonsense that I don't really care about. But the reason I got it is because it's from what I know about the headset, the Extreme Gaming, the source's like gaming quote brand, they don't actually make the products, they just take other existing products and relabel them. Like I had another headset from them that was based off of a Tech and Motion headset, and that had a really nice microphone, but it got pretty uncomfortable wearing it after a little while. I think my Donkey Kong Country LP, when I mentioned that my mic broke in like part 4 or something, that I was using that, and that was before I had those I switched out the ear pads, which actually did make them comfortable, but ever since we moved, I don't know where that's gone, so I'm not able to use that. I would have, if I could find it, I would be using that right now, but nevertheless, so I've just bought these Extreme Gaming, these newer ones. These are based off of an existing design. Multiple brands have it. It's probably most commonly known these days as the MSI DS502 headset. It's also known as the eTech City H7PX Plus and the Senti Arches. I do believe Senti's a now dead brand because there hasn't been any updates on their website apparently since 2016. Their Twitter page doesn't seem to exist anymore, and from what I know, they're not even available to purchase on Amazon, so I believe they're kind of gone. But that doesn't matter too much because there's other brands. Like eTech City is a little more recognizable, at least in a way, and of course a lot of people recognize MSI. They're basically all the same headset, including this Extreme Gaming variant. It's just slightly designed differently in terms of visually, but cosmetically and aesthetically it's the same headset. And you can probably hear for yourself, the microphone on this is very good. It's a very excellent sounding microphone for a kind of quote-unquote gaming headset, and the headset itself for audio actually isn't too bad either. It has like this driver software. It's a USB headset, and you just put that software on. You can either use the disc that comes with the headset, or you can just download it from the Source's website, which I did because more convenient. You just install the driver, and then it gives you a whole set of controls. You can put on an equalizer. You can put on the gimmick of virtual 7.1 surround sound, which again I don't really care about. You can just adjust it to your liking. So I was able to use the equalizer and set it to what I was kind of using similarly with my creative sound card with the Philips. So, and as a result, they actually sound very close. They're not exact. I'd say the Philips do sound a little better, but these are surprisingly really good. It's just a shame that the Source tends to charge extra for it. It's like they charge like $75. I got it when it was on sale because of Black Friday and stuff. So that was really the only reason I decided to get it too, as well, was because of the sale. And but there's also, I wouldn't be surprised if you go on like Amazon.ca, you find the MSI variant or the eTech City variant, and then they're cheaper. But I just wanted something I could get right away and get like a warranty, because the Source does have like a few-year warranty where they entitle you to a couple replacements, and I thought, you know what, I could use that in case something goes wrong with these. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's a pretty decent headset. Like, I'm surprised. I just wish it was a little cheaper as a regular price, but it's fine. It sounds nice to use, and it's got a very good microphone, as you can hear. It's also got a vibration feature, which is kind of neat, but is very much a gimmick and nothing more. It's meant to feel like it's giving you more bass, but again, it's really just a gimmick, and it's probably not going to be for everyone. But yeah, like I will state though, this is not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be as amazing as the Philips or a Sennheiser or an Audio-Technica or an AKG or a Shure or whatever notable brands are. Superlux is another one that I think comes to mind for me. All these different kind of brands, you know, the really popular brands, Beyerdynamic, for for the audiophile. It's not gonna. This isn't an audiophile grade headset. I will definitely say that, but I don't consider myself that much of an audiophile. I just want something, that sounds good to my ears and, is enjoyable, and this headset does that for me. So I might, if you guys like the sound of it, I'll probably be using it for a while. I mean, I've listened back to it, and it does sound very similar to what I've been using before, so I can't complain personally. Hopefully I got the volume set up. I don't think it's peaking too much. There might be a little bit of sections, but I've kind of always had a bit of peaking, but oh well. As long as it sounds pretty good throughout the large duration of it, I would say. But yeah, in fact, whilst I'm on here, and I know it's silly, I've been talking about all this the entire time. I haven't mentioned anything about the what's been going on during the video. I apologize for that. Yeah, it does look like eTech City. It doesn't mention their headset on Canadian Amazon. I know it's on American Amazon, so it does say it's currently unavailable, which is a bit of a shame, but I can look for MSI DS502. Well, they quote-unquote did not find results, but it is actually here. It's just not labeled. They just don't advertise it, so wow, it's like $70 Canadian. Yeah, we seriously get ripped off with prices. I know our dollar is not the strongest and everything, but I really do feel like they get a little bit carried away with it personally, so like some companies do, I would have to be honest about. But yeah, if you want to just buy it online, you can just get the MSI variant, or if the eTech City becomes available in Canada, or unless you live in America or anywhere else that they sell it, then you should be all right. But I personally say this is a pretty nice headset. It's fairly comfortable, not as comfortable as what I've been using before, but pretty close. And yeah, I just realized I've been going for nearly 10 minutes. I haven't really said anything about the games. But yeah, as you see, though, it's just been some touring car racing, which is always nice. I do like the touring car driving in GRiD. It's one of the more fun things to do. And as you can obviously see, I've been using a DLC car. I've been using the Honda Integra Type R, which is, for me, kind of the reason I want to use it is because the Integra is quite a cool vehicle. I personally have always liked the Integra Type R. It's a very nice car. And we've already seen myself drive both the two normal cars, the Lassetti and the BMW, so I thought I'd drive the Honda to switch things up. There's also, of course, if you were paying attention, there's also the Volvo. a Volvo C30. So if another touring car event shows up, I will probably drive the Volvo, just so I've driven all 4 of them. But for this, I decided to go with the Integra Type R, because I've always liked the Integra Type R as a car, both the DC2 and the DC5, which is the DC5 would be this one. At least I'm pretty sure this is what this one's called, the DC5. If it's not called that, please feel free to correct me. But yeah, so I've been, of course, doing fairly well. I've had a few instances, but apart from that, I've been, of course, consistently winning, and then Hammerling, just, you know, he does okay-ish, but never enough to really reap the most reward, at least considering the fact that, you know, he's behind me anyways. Ow, I just banged my foot slightly. And yeah, so he's you know, he's kind of there, and then basically it's just kind of how it is. I mean, I usually just win a lot of these races in the game anyway, so, you know, kind of the case with all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's why I kind of kept it on the serious difficulty, because it gives me a good chance of winning the race, but doesn't make it, like, stupidly easy. I at least have to keep driving good enough to, you know, to be able to hold my position. Because if I start screwing up quite a bit, then, you know, they'll start pulling in, and, you know, giving me a bit more of a fight to go for that. And, you know, that's why I like choosing the middle ground difficulty often in games, because it just finds that balance, because it gives you challenge, but doesn't get overbearing with it. Unlike most games with their hard difficulty, where, you know, it becomes a huge challenge, and you have to just be really goddamn good. There are some games I'll play on hard, and I will get to those in the future. Of course, as you probably might know already, I'm through Stream LPs. At the time this video is coming out, this will have been released about the day after I did a LP Tech Stream LP over on my Twitch channel of the original Need for Speed. Yes, I am kicking off the Need for Speed-a-thon. I did the original Need for Speed on the PlayStation 1, and that was a bit of a challenge because of a combination of AI that has some rubber banding qualities, as well as the fact that they're just really fast in general, because it's kind of a combination of both. I know Rhino said it's more just the AI, but being fast, I personally still think there is some rubber banding involved in some areas, personally, but they do get quite fast. And, you know, it's a more serious, like, Need for Speed game. The driving, you know, takes a bit of skill to get used to and all that kind of stuff. So it's not one of those more arcade style like most Need for Speed games are, because the original Need for Speed, especially the original release, was meant to be more simulation. Then they made the special edition on, like, the PC, and I think they made it a little more arcade. I was originally considering to do the PC version, but I thought, you know what, there might be some, like, compatibility issues because it's such an old game, so I thought, why don't I just play it on PlayStation? It's pretty much very similar to the special edition anyways. So I thought, you know, that would probably work. And, you know, it did. After over an hour struggling on one race, the rest of it went pretty well. I started kind of just using the save states, though, because I was so frustrated with the way things were going that I was like, you know what, I don't want to keep having to be here all night long. So it was still a bit of a lengthy stream, and, you know, some people will probably be annoyed by the use of the save states and whatnot, but for me, it's like, at that point, I just kind of stopped caring. But yeah, I did manage to, in just under like 4 hours, I did manage to get the game done, and it's been archived on YouTube because I didn't play any of my music or anything. There will be streams where I decide to play my music, in which that case, they'll just be archived as like highlights on Twitch rather than being, you know, stuff like that. I guess really just because of copyrights. I mean, I shouldn't really care because I never monetize my videos anyways. So as long as they don't start muting on like YouTube, maybe I'll just let it happen. I won't be playing the music really loud, obviously, because I need to be able to not just hear myself, but I need people to hear me and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, and as you can see there, look how close we are to the Japan license. I know we didn't do anything in this for it, but just to show you if you hadn't remembered. And there's our sponsors, including Kappa and Sparko, which I don't put any of those on because they don't make as much money as the current stuff I have on it. So then that means, of course, we do go over to the Japan, which we just need to do the one more to get ourselves into the Super 1. And I was kind of debating if I wanted to use like a car I hadn't used already or whatnot, but I eventually said, you know what, I had so much luck before using the Mitsubishi, the Evo 10, that I decided, you know what, that would just make a lot of sense to use because it's a car that's just so good that it will make my life a little bit easier. But next time I come across this kind of class, I will probably switch it up. I might buy the 350Z and drive that. The only time I really used it was for, ironically, a midnight tailgate, but that was against a member of Raven West for like getting the bunch of money, which is worth doing because all the money and stuff. And yeah, you can kind of see I kind of screwed this up a bit. I did have a few instances during my midnight toge run here, but not just specifically this particular one with Ichikawa, but just in general doing this. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust the mic a little bit. The only thing that takes a little while to get used to with this headset is that the microphone boom doesn't actually come out as far. So it doesn't quite get to my mouth. It gets close, but it's not entirely there. So I'm always trying to make sure that I can get it fairly close. So, but I think where I have it right now is pretty good because I'm looking at the waveform that's showing when I'm speaking, and it looks to be pretty good. So, excuse me. But yeah, I'd say, you know, I won't worry about it too much because as long as you guys hear me. I was watching back the stream. I was able to hear myself fairly well, but I did come off a little bit quieter than the people on Discord. So I'll have adjusted it in the next stream where mine will be a little bit louder again and they'll be a little bit quieter, just to kind of find that balance and hopefully get it, you know, sort of on equal grounds and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, despite the little issue at the start, I did eventually climb back to take the win, which is always nice. And as you see there, my next opponent would be Shiro Ikawa, and Hammerling didn't even make it past the first round. What a disappointment. You know, despite his stats, I forgot to get rid of the loading screen here. I didn't even realize, I've forgotten there even was one here. Oh well, no biggie. But yeah. So yeah, Shirokawa, another Supra, just different color and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of a shame. Hammerling, you know, stats-wise looks really good, but isn't actually impressing that much. He's had some notable showing of, you know, being great, but then a lot of it, he's just kind of just never been quite enough. I've started to think maybe Hammerling isn't even worth cutting it out. I know, it makes me seem like an asshole just going through all these different teammates, but I'm trying to find, I want to find someone, you know, who could be on the team who, you know, has a great balance. Like, you know, is good and fast and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, consistently does very well. And, yep, you can see there, that one I just decided to rewind because that was like a full spin out. I swear, I always have my moments of stupidity. I still think the most stupid moment I've had throughout the LP was when I wasn't paying attention during the race on Spa on that Porsche, and I just smacked the tire wall and totaled myself. And because I used up all my rewinds, I had to restart the race. And yeah, what happened there was I ran into a traffic vehicle that I hadn't even noticed was there, because by this point I had actually forgotten that during Midnight Toge, traffic vehicles are actually a thing. There's not much, obviously, but that's probably why I forgot. But, you know, it's just kind of the thing that happens, really. Yeah. just make sure that when you're doing the Midnight Toge, you at least pay a little bit more attention than I do. That's always important to do. It's a very important thing to do. But yeah, anyways, going in terms back to the scheduling. In terms of streams, my plan at least is to stream at least 3 times a week. So I already streamed yesterday with the original Need for Speed. If I can get a good setup working, I don't have my TV anymore. My TV's been starting to die, so we got a monitor that hadn't been used. It was downstairs. We just brought it up, and it's working perfectly fine. But the thing is, what was good about my old TV was it had 2 HDMI cables on it, whereas this monitor only has 1. And, you know, what I want to do eventually is I want to buy a DVI cable. So, because anyone who knows anything about DVI knows that it's basically DVI is a lot like HDMI. It just doesn't carry audio and it has a different shape, but it works and functions very similarly to HDMI. So, you know, I want it, because this monitor does have a DVI connection, I want to get a DVI cable because my GTX 1060 has some DVI cable connections. Plug that in, put it into the monitor, and then that way I can just use DVI for the computer, and then when I need to use HDMI for like the Elgato, I can switch to that. And the reason I want to do that is because I do want to start streaming like another like thing. I want to stream the original Forza Motorsport, but again, and this, my only way currently would be to unplug the HDMI cable from that the computer is using, and then just plug the one in for the Elgato, which means if I had to do anything on the computer, I'd have to switch. I'd have to move the monitor, unplug the cable, and plug it back in, and that's a little bit. It can get a little bit irritating, to say the least. So, but you know, it's not exactly. It's not the biggest of deals because it's. At least this is actually a lot easier to put a cable in compared to my TV, thankfully, with this monitor. But, you know, it would still be nice to be able to just have the two things put on different things. Just makes it a lot easier and stuff. So yeah, pretty much there. I basically smoked Ken Azura and his Skyline. That was a really good showing, and pretty much again, we won the tournament as like basically. So we get the max points, and we still managed to tie for first, probably because I won, even despite the fact that Hammerling, you know, did so poorly. You know, in fact, he did so poorly that he didn't even make anything from this. Because, and of course, 250,000 from Japan, which means we now finally have the J-Speed Super 1, which is good. Because now that means... There we go. Look at that, all fancy, and we're very close to the 1 million too for the final thing there. Whereas, and then that one is just, you don't have to worry about getting in a certain area. So the sponsors here are STP, Tyne, and NOS. And then, as you of course can see there, it opens up, and there you go. There's your few events for the J-Speed Super 1. Very nice. Anyways, so pretty much. I just do the sponsor stuff off screen as I usually do in case the game crashed, but as you can see there, NOS, it would get us 33,000. So I put NOS on for that reason. And I just kind of looking through some things, and I put Falcon there because it's a little bit better, and then I think and then kind of changed stuff up, and I put Speed there because I miss Speed TV. And I pretty much didn't really need to change anything else there. But yeah, that's going to do it for this part. Stay tuned for the next part. Hopefully I'll get it out soon. I'm hoping. I do still need to record it. Of course, I haven't actually done that yet. But I will hopefully get it around to doing it soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that whenever I manage to get it out. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around if you have. And I will catch you all on the next one.